Hi traders, Chris from the research team here at Pepperstone. Now the question of the day is whether or not the S&P can break 7,000 this week, and certainly if you look at the momentum that we're seeing in the underlying tape, it suggests that that's a reasonable probability and a question to ask. But of course, lots of people are focused on the Xi-Trump meeting this week and the headlines that have been coming out ahead of that situation, and that has led to a gap up in the futures and a strong breakaway gap run that we've been seeing in the price action in the S&P and the Nasdaq as well. But I think it's the earnings side of things which are going to matter so much more this week. I think that's really going to be the big driver of variance in single stocks, and of course the underlying equity tape as well. Now we have seen 32% of S&P coming out with earnings so far. 83% have beaten the street's expectations on EPS, 69% on sales. The average move on the day by the stocks who have reported has been about 1% higher, which is a pretty good number relative to recent past. So that's going to be spilling over into this week, and it is a massive week. We've got 46% of the S&P market cap due to report, and that's specifically going to be happening on Wednesday and Thursday in the aftermarket sessions. Now, of course, we're in the session ahead, for those people who are holding NVIDIA exposures or looking to, we do have the GTC conference hosted by NVIDIA, where Jensen Huang will be stepping up for a keynote speech, and that has historically been the source of pretty big volatility coming through NVIDIA, so one to watch ahead of that situation. But if we focus on Wednesday, we've got Meta, we've got Microsoft, and we've got Google coming out with numbers in the aftermarket session, and that's going to be just after we see the Fed meeting as well, so there's no doubt that the market is pricing higher volatility for that event. Then on Thursday, we've got Amazon, and we've got Apple, and then we've got some retail trader favourites such as Coinbase and Reddit also coming out with numbers on that day as well. So that's 5 of the Mag 7 stocks reporting numbers. We don't get NVIDIA until the 19th of November, and of course Tesla have already reported. But I want to focus on the Wednesday session because I think that's really key, and of course then we'll go into Thursday and we'll do a video on that one as well. But if we focus on Alphabet or Google, that has had a blistering run up into $270. They will need to meet the street's expectation, perhaps even surpass that to keep this dream alive, and the market is implying a move in terms of options pricing of 6% up or down on the day, which is a pretty punchy move for this stock. Now they will need to come out with Q3 search guidance or Q3 search numbers around 12 to 13% growth. If we focus on Microsoft as well, their reserve department will need to see growth about 40% to please the market. That stock's been a frustrating long for a lot of people, but it started to move up quite nicely into earnings, and we'll see if they can deliver as well. Now Meta has been a really frustrating trade for a lot of people. It's a crowded long, but that hasn't really worked so much as some of the other stocks there as well. So again, we're looking for revenue of around 51% to please the market. We're going to be looking at engagement rates and specifically around capex as well. Now, a big week ahead of earnings. We'll be watching this very, very close. I think it could be the question that drives us above 7,000. Watch our US 24-hour shares indicatively. I think they're going to be very, very key to watch or trade, and trade it with Pepperstone.